right, we're going to go through each of the statements and decide whether they're true or false, and I'm going to explain the correct answers. So the triangular prism and the rectangular prism have the same height. Okay, so the height of a rectangular prism, or for any kind of prism, is the distance between the two bases. So let's start with the rectangular prism. So down here, I'm hovering over the base of the rectangular prism. So here's the base, okay? And then here's the second base on the top. So the distance between the two bases is right here. So that's how tall this object is. And that object is 30 inches. Okay? So now let's look at the triangular prism. So remember, triangular prism is triangular. So the base is a triangle. So here's the triangle. This is the base. Okay? So now the second base is back here. In the back. Here's the two triangles. The distance between the two triangles is right here, which is 30. So this is a true statement. They're both 30. The triangular prism and the rectangular prism have the same volume. Okay, I can go ahead and find the volume of each of them, but I can see here they have the same dimensions. Okay? The base is a 10 by 10 on the rectangular prism. The base of this triangle is a 10 by 10. The height is the same. However, when you find the area of a triangle versus a rectangle, what do? Hopefully you remember that for a triangle, you got to divide it by 2. So it is going to make this smaller. But I'm going to go ahead and solve that for you guys so you can see. So their formulas are the same. It's volume equals big B times H. And the big B, remember, is the area of the base. So that base over here is a triangle. So it needs to be 1/2 base times height of the triangle times the height of the prism. Okay, don't be confused there. So let's go ahead and put those calculations in. Remember, when you multiply something by 1/2, that divides it by 2. We talked about that a second ago. So the base of this triangle is 10. And the height, I'm just going to go ahead and put all this stuff in parentheses. So that makes, and the height is also 10. But remember, the height of the prism, this is the height of the prism, this is the height of the base, it's different, okay? The height of the prism here is 30. A little bigger, there we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and find the area of the triangle first. So the area of the triangle is 1/2 times 10 times 10. Well, y'all know 10 times 10 is 100. What's half 100? 50. Then I'm going to take that area, so that's the area of the base. The 50 is the area of the triangle, which is the big B. Now I'm going to multiply by the height of the prism, which is 30. And 50 times 30 is 150. And remember, it's cubic inches. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and find so that's our final answer for the volume of the triangular prism. Red. I'll put this in red. Those match. Okay, now I'm going to find the volume of the rectangular prism here. Still the same formula, but we have to remember that this is a rectangle. Rectangle, the area is base times height, but it gets a little confusing, so I'm just going to put length times width, because that's what you'll remember from like elementary school. So we just do length times width times height, okay? Now I'm going to first do the area of the base, because we're big kids, okay? And I see later on I'm going to be comparing that. So the area of that base is 10 times 10, then we're going to multiply it by 30. So do you see here? We got the same dimensions from last time. Look, volume equals 10 times 10 times 30. And you see here we have 10 times 10 times 30. But what's the difference? It has that half. So this is going to make it smaller. Because when we do this, we're going to do 10 times 10, which is 100. So that's the area of the base. And then we multiply by the height of the prism, which was 30. You're going to get 300 cubic inches. So remember, we ended up dividing something by 1/2. So this is actually larger. So this is the prism, the rectangular prism. We've got a different colors to green. Okay, cubic inches. So let's go back to the question. The triangular prism and the rectangular prism have the same volume. That's false, because their bases are not the same shape. Even though the dimensions of the bases are the same, they're not the same shape. So that makes that one have a different area. Okay, let's look at the next one. The volume of the triangular prism is less than the volume of the rectangular prism. Okay, less means smaller. So the triangular prism, is that less than the rectangular prism? Yes. So that was true. So the next one. The area of the base of the rectangular prism is larger than the triangular prism. Okay, so back. Remember that right here we did the area of the base of the triangular prism. So I'm going to give that a different color. These are not fun colors. Let's do purple. Okay, so that is the area of the base. Now let's compare it to the area of this base. Remember, it was the 10 times 10. So there's the two area of the bases. Okay, so let's go back to the question. The area of the base of the rectangular prism is larger than the triangular prism. So is that purple 100 bigger than that 50? True. Last question. Whoops. Last question. Both prisms have rectangular lateral faces. Okay, remember the faces, the lateral faces are the outside shapes around the bases. And while rectangular prism, all they have is rectangles. We gotta look at the triangular prism. The triangular prism, the bases are a triangle, and these outside faces are rectangles. You see that this is a rectangle. So that is also true. So we only had one false statement there, which was question number 2.